Well, it's that time of year again where Coronation Street brings round all the reporters and all the king's men and women and they thems, and they decide to reveal just what we're looking forward to this Christmas on Coronation Street. So, I mean, we already have a lot of stuff kind of teased. One thing I'll have to remember to mention is there's also someone may potentially not make it through Christmas, I believe. I don't remember the article, but it was an article, and essentially the real answer is Billy. If I'd done the due diligence, bloody hell. If I'd done that before, I would have the article for you, but I do not. But they did tease that someone is going to not make it through Christmas, so that's interesting in itself. As said before, it's going to be Billy. He's having a big exit. He said he's still filming through next year. Probably is getting filmed in the aftermath, so it probably is Billy, let's be real. Because they do like to have the big anniversaries on Coronation Street, and this one will be no different. So, with all that said, though, I don't really need to do any house cleaning. The last time I made a video, I said Coronation Street was getting better, and I did believe it, and I still believe it, and I'm going to continue to believe it. I am not entirely enthralled by the Abby Carl affair. I'm not super immersed in Tyrone's storyline. I'll forever love Debbie. Excuse me. And the Becky storyline is it's something. I don't mind it. It's okay, but it's definitely, it has to do a lot of making up. But I still think that Corrie's doing a good job at building strong women, which is obviously what the show was built on. So, yeah, let's take a look at some of these articles, though. This will be a lot of reading. There's what, one, two, three, four. There's about 5 pages of news, but I'm not going to read them all thoroughly. So, let's just get into it. Coronation Street. Coronation Street's Christmas 2025 spoilers revealed by show boss. What's ahead over the festive season? Coronation Street boss Kate Brooks has shared some early teasers for this year's Christmas episode. Cast and crew are currently busy filming the festive editions with decorations around the set when Digital Spy paid a visit for the press event this week. And it was all the newspapers who did this as well, because the Metro did it too. Oh, excuse me, Christ. Get some tea down you, man. Get some tea down you. Oh, delicious. All right. The new Driscoll family, headed up by the returning character Eva Price, will be among those taking center stage in a Christmas episode this year, as they will bring community together at the Rovers Return. If you don't know who the Driscoll family is, that is the picture. Eva, very popular, was most famously involved in the Aidan Connor storyline. And then the 2 other people are unknown. Well, not unknown in terms of performances, but you have the woman who played Yvonne Cotton in EastEnders for a year, and I'm pretty sure she was on Father Ted, but I could be making stuff up. And the one in the middle, I don't remember his name, but, regardless. Todd Grimshaw, Theo Silverton, Carla Connor, and Lisa Swain, Debbie Webster, and Ronnie Bailey are among the others who have been tipped to feature prominently. Okay? We see that. We see you. Speaking to us at the press event, it's also mental how they are blending kind of newer and older characters completely, because you have Todd Cullen and Todd Cullen and Debbie, who have been there for yonks, and then you have Theo, Lisa, and Ronnie, who are what? I mean, Lisa's not really been a character for more than a year, so yeah, it's been their fledgling kind of breakout period. Speaking to us at the press event, Brooks commented, "There's loads going on in Christmas. The day itself is a real family affair, and the Driscolls are very much part of it, because it's a proper pub Christmas day." Very community-based and very lively. There's loads going on. Secrets are exposed. So it's a real feel-good episode with a lot of drama thrown into the mix. She continued, as for the stories we've got going on which build to that, we got Ronnie and Debbie who are very keen to crack on with their wedding. There's a lot of preparation for that. Fun and games in terms of that. And it's not taking place in the Chariot Square Hotel. We've also got Carla, Lisa and Becky. This storyline really goes up a gear around Christmas time. There are a few really big twists that will keep people hooked and keep people watching as they watch all this unfold. That sentence is ridiculous. There will be tons of twists that will keep people watching and keep people watching until they watch it all as it watches. So that's another big story which features around Christmas period. I suppose that's a good time to talk about this one, which is Coronation Street confirming that the major new villain is Becky. So she'll become a major new villain. It says the ITV soap Coronation Street producer Kate Brooks has confirmed that Becky Swain will become a major new villain for the show. The ITV soap will unleash a dramatic storyline in the coming weeks as Becky ruthlessly plots to destroy the relationship between Lisa Swain and Carla Connor. But can Swala defy the odds and survive this? One word answer for you. Yes. Yes. There is no world that Swala is dumped unceremoniously for a character who was brought back from the dead despite nobody actually knowing who she was when she was alive. So yes, Swala will survive. Swala will be going on till we're all dead. No, it won't. Lisa will leave at some point. They'll kill her off or something and she'll go back. And Carla will go back to Peter. Just the state of play with soaps, really. Alright, hopefully I'm less nasally and less kind of taken out. Since Becky has made a shocking return from the dead last month, Corrie has fans guessing over her agenda, whether she's really telling the truth about why she was forced to fake her own demise. In upcoming episodes, all becomes clear to viewers who will see how manipulative Becky can be, which can only mean trouble for Lisa and Carla. Speaking to us at a recent Corrie press event on the show set, Brooks commented, "I'm not going to pull any punches. Becky's a bit of a villain. She comes back and she knows what she wants. She wants her family back. She wants Betsy. She wants Lisa back. And she wants to oust Carla from this happy home life that she's created." Sorry, I keep playing around with my... That was going to sound racist with it. I keep playing around with a crop. It's not, nobody AI that. Nobody AI say penis. We're watching this story develop and slowly we'll start to peel away the layers of Becky, who she is and what she's actually capable of. At the minute on screen, we've only really scratched the surface. But she's capable of many things. The thing that she's capable of doing is reminding Lisa of the life they had. They were together for a long time. They got a child together, and that's the history between them. That's love there. While we were all very happy and rooting for Carla and Lisa, there's a history that we can't ignore. I mean, I think that maybe it's just the stands ruining it, but I think that Carla and Lisa, I think that ship is made infamous due to its fans and due to the shipping community. I don't necessarily think it's that huge with the core audience. And this isn't like the core audience being like homophobic or whatever, but like a lot of the audience just don't really believe that Carla can fall in love with a woman, because we've seen Carla in love with a man at the entire time on the show, and she's never really shown these tendencies. I'll say this just to clarify. I have no problem with Carla and Lisa. I have no problem with her. I have no problem with it whatsoever. I'm perfectly happy to see them together. I think they fit. I think it's possible. I don't think sexuality is binary as people like to make it out to be. But I could understand why, if you're just a normal Corrie fan and you go, Lisa wasn't a character a year ago, now she's got one of the biggest storylines of the year, and maybe 2 years ago. But she wasn't a character 4 years ago. And someone's going to say she was a regular, but shut your mouth. She hasn't been on screens for a long time, therefore, why is she getting the bigger storylines? And I think people can aptly have a problem with that. And yeah, I just think it also becomes infamous because of the very vocal minority of the Swala stands who also, I mean, the Swala stands think Becky is like a fascist dictator in Germany. You know what I mean? They think that she has done horrendous things. They think that she is, you know, that's how they view her, because they've ruined Swala because that bitch is back and she doesn't know how to use a fucking doorbell. And like like so she's, I don't know, it's just the inconsistencies with this article, because saying, yeah, she's going to be a bit of a villain, and then they go, yeah, she's going to be a little bit of a villain. But the article suggests main villain of Coronation Street, and I don't really believe it. Villain is only as good as people who believe that they're evil. And I don't think the bulk of the population of Coronation Street fans are that invested in Swala. Sorry. I could be wrong. I'd love to know what you think. Also, sorry for that comparison. I know it was a bit extreme, but I needed to depict just how much the Swala stands despise Becky Swain. She's continued. It's been really interesting seeing the reaction from people online, seeing how they're viewing the story. Reagan says Carla and Lisa are a brilliant story and a brilliant soap couple. Go on a journey with these two as they navigate this woman who's literally been dropped from a great height, land like a bomb in their house. It's how Carla, who is bolshy and feisty, doesn't take any messing, struggles to comprehend that this woman is at a kitchen island drinking tea, having to restrain herself from doing anything crazy to oust the woman. Alright, where's more actual spice, not just filler? It's a really exciting story, she explained. You don't want to mess with Becky. She had a sight set on getting that family back. She's clever and she's wily. She stayed dead for like 4 years. She knows what she's doing. She knows how to lie way out of situations. She also... Becky also capitalized on the fact that Lisa's still struggling to process this, and what she's offering is a glimpse of the past life they've had together. Then he's saying Becky's calculating and calm. Carla gets wound up. They're going to play into it. Blah, blah, blah. Yes. The audience will discover that Becky is not quite the innocent or the hero she's led people to believe, Brooks warned. We'll realise that quite soon on screen, but it takes a while for the rest of people in Witherfield to realise the type of person she is and what she's capable of. Obviously, Carla's got a few suspicions, but we really cement those suspicions quite soon. Carla has every right to be wary of the woman. Okay, that's an exciting teaser. That is, you know, that's what this article was written to tell. And I'm partially excited for it. There's just some stuff that I'm just not super keen on, but I also don't really have so much of the buy-in to characters, but I'm not gonna, like, I love Tyrone. I don't really care about Tyrone being in a wheelchair. It's just, I understand that they've been trying to meld, like, new characters with old, and they have tried with, like, Cassie and Carl and James Bailey. They have tried, but there is just kind of how do I phrase that doesn't sound really condescending? I'm gonna say there's a level of kind of prestige. I don't know. That sounds really gatekeepery. And I suppose to dissuade from that, Daisy was one of my favorite characters, and I loved her from the moment she was here. So I think, well, if you've been carrying stories for like a good 5-10 years, you do get that natural warmth that a lot of the audience has. But a lot of these newer characters have been introduced with a dark side, and then, well, I say dark side, a lot of them do have a dark side now. So a lot of them have been introduced to have a dark side, and that's not really a way to make the character super likable. But I don't know, I suppose now I can go back to this. There's also Todd and Theo. Christmas is often a time where spikes in calls to the Samaritans. Why not just show Todd and Theo's journey in the build-up to Christmas? We got a really special episode which is primarily featured on Todd and Theo's relationship, but it's told in a completely different, unique, never been done before way. Will really pack a punch on so many levels. I really should have organised this before. There we are. My God. Look, first video of the day, it will get better, I swear. I'm also rocking the current Theo haircut, so, you know, don't mind me. Coronation Street announces a special episode as Theo's abusive Todd gets worse. Coronation Street announced plans to break from its usual format this winter as Theo Silverton continues to abuse his boyfriend Todd Grimshaw. The ITV soap has been exploring domestic abuse in a same-sex partnership with the characters of Theo and Todd. This troubling situation will sadly get worse in the coming weeks. As part of an ongoing plot... Oh, bloody hell. I got a lot of editing to do, don't mind me. Oh, blimey. Oh, my throat, it's sore. Fans can expect a special episode of Rovers Christmas, which mainly focuses on Theo and Todd's relationship, continuing a recent tradition of soaps experimenting with their style. Corrie bosses have promised that this will include format-breaking elements which haven't been used in the genre before. I mean, if they just do a two-hander, I'm perfectly happy for it, and I don't think that's format-breaking. But I also wouldn't be surprised if they do an episode which specifically focuses on all of like Todd and Theo in the build-up to Christmas, where instead of working all the time, they are both forced to be in the house with each other. And I think that would be a really interesting way to go with this, with the Todd and Theo storyline. I'm pensive, but I'm excited for it. I think, you know how we all have the storylines that we kind of are enthralled by? For some reason, I am enthralled with the soap domestic violence storylines. And it sounds really weird when you say it like that, but I think there's just a depth that it typically goes that shows... It shows how dark it can really get, and it shows how important it is to tell these stories, because if you don't tell them, then, you know, there are just... Like, domestic violence never goes away. It's always prevalent. So it's very important to keep telling these stories. I know people may get upset with them, but there are a lot of rotten people out there. There are a lot of abusers. So I find it always really impactful to learn about this dynamic, and in kind of a weird way, it can really endear you to a soap character. Like, I love Tyrone. Tyrone only really had like one good year over the last 15 years, and that was the Kirsty Soames storyline. So I don't know. It's just in a weird, fucked up way, it's a good way to endear a character to an audience, and obviously you show the depths, you show the layers, you show that they are a multi-dimensional person. So, and I think Todd was a great example for this, as I think once we're out of this Todd and Theo storyline, which I doubt it'll be going anywhere anytime soon, I do think that new Todd will be the definitive Todd. Sorry, I'm just trying to figure out the peaking on the microphone. Speaking to us at a recent Corrie press event on the show set, producer Kate Brooks commented, "It's a really important story. We deliberately played a bit of a slow burn with it. We've seen Todd falling for this guy, who is complex and has got issues. Theo's given everything up for Todd. He's given up his family and has come to terms with his sexuality. By the time the story gets going, Todd's in a place where he really feels indebted to Theo. At this point, Theo's true colours really are revealed. He's a dark character and he's really going to manipulate Todd. He's really good at gaslighting Todd. Fundamentally, it's a story about domestic abuse in a same-sex relationship. It's important to shine a light on that, given that it's quite prominent in same-sex relationships. We've been working very closely with a charity called Gallup. Some of the statistics are really quite shocking. Brooks commented, there's some really dark episodes, but very important, raw, authentic episodes. We have played about with a format to tell a bit of these stories. I've been in a viewing this morning for a really brilliant and powerful episode, focused primarily on their relationship. Hasn't been done before, and I don't think anybody's ever told a story in this format in this way. Just rewatched it, and I'm quite stunned by it. Got to go back and rewatch it again, just to digest what I've watched on screen, because it's really powerful, it's really emotive. Brooks warned the story that Theo and Todd's story still has a while left to run, with the street residents initially unaware what's happening behind closed doors. However, she also names Todd friend Sarah Barlow and work boss George Shuttleworth as characters who will always have his best interests at heart. Brooks said there are red flags, and even now, people say Todd run, Theo's clearly a wrong one. But obviously, as the nature of these relationships, it's a lot easier said than done. Todd loves a man who feels like he can change him. Feels like everything that happened to Theo in his past made him this person. It was quite horrific, make no bones about it. He does really vile things to Todd, but Todd's seen the goodness in him as well, so it was important to show the building blocks of why people find themselves in the situations. It's a hard watch. We're not rooting for Todd and Theo in any way, shape or form. The story will naturally progress. Hopefully Todd will realise what's going on is not acceptable. We're not rooting for this couple, we're rooting for Todd. We're rooting for Todd to see the light, as we've taken George and Christina and Sarah. All those people who care and love Todd are absolutely oblivious to what's going on between the two behind closed doors. And it gets really and it's bloody, I can't read. Fuck me. And it's going to be really interesting to watch what happens when what people do. Oh, fuck it, you can read it. Christ, I woke up early to record videos, and this has been an absolute shit show. So I do apologize, but also it's 20 minutes in, and I'm not doing it again. Right, so a little bit on Theo and Todd. I was initially very skeptical about it because they introduced Theo as this kind of twisted, dark character who showed his problems pretty early on. But it was, as I said, as like most abusers, Theo only really showed his true colors once he finally got his feet in the door. Once he was living with Todd, once he moved in with Todd, got him all to himself, now Theo's true colors have truly shone through. And I was initially skeptical to suggest, why would they do this conversion therapy storyline and then proceed to kind of degrade it completely? And then now they've kind of unveiled that the conversion therapy aspect is pretty... We saw one of Theo's exes who he also abused, and it was basically explained that Theo uses that to kind of explain away his behavior and try to get away with it. But that's not why he's the problem. You know, that's not why... Like, the conversion therapy isn't what made Theo like this. It's everything else. It's him. So I think that was a really interesting way to take it. I was initially like, why would they do this? But then as it started to kind of form, I think it has genuinely kind of reestablished itself as a very strong contender for a storyline. So I don't know. I was probably quite wrong about this initially. So I have... You know, maybe I'll believe in Kate Brooks a little bit more. Also, I will say, I know people are probably gonna be upset, especially Coronation Street fans, about the genre-breaking episode, the special episode. Because usually when Corrie tries to experiment with the flashbacks, it does the shit special effects. Like, it wants to be something that's not a soap. And I don't mind it breaking from the format as such. But it's just any time you do something new or different, you do have that core part of the audience who just goes, "What? This isn't soap worthy. This is too surreal for soap. Take it down. Take it down." And it's like, just reacting like fucking Dalek. Exterminate. Special effects in my Coronation Street. Exterminate. Just going crazy with it. And I don't mind it. I don't hate it, but I don't love it. I still think you have to have the core groundedness in soap, but there's definitely room to play about with it, because if you don't do it, you don't get moments like Vera showing up when Jack dies, or Pat showing up when Peggy dies. Like, that surrealism is good, used very sparingly. They're the big ones, but we've also got the websites. You've got Tyrone and Fizz, and the Abby, Carl, and James story is still going on. Abby hasn't gotten a Scooby what's going on. Also, Tyrone doesn't know about the truth about Carl and the car. There are things which are bubbling and about to kick off. This one's just essentially saying that Debbie's not going anywhere. Debbie's going to get married to Ronnie fairly soon. I'm just skipping through it because I am... Yeah, Sally and Glenda are going to become Debbie's friends. That's nice. Real Life Dementia Choir. and essentially suggesting that Debbie is still going to be Debbie for a long time. And you had Sue Devaney, who has been pretty vocal about saying, yeah, I have been axed, but I'm still here till 2027 at least. Which is a really way to kind of... It's a nice reward for the character, and I still believe that this storyline is probably going to be what defines this era. But it is just a very slow burn that we're going to have to wait and see. And what's this one? This one's just suggesting the plan for the new people running the Rovers. Glenda and Sean will be staying. I like it. You watch the story. You watch the debut episode. You care about every single member of their family straight away. You fall in love with them, and going forward, you're going to continue to fall in love with them because they are a delight to watch. They're a breath of fresh air. Lots of stories. Brooks tip the relationship between Eva and Maggie's Wonder Watch as Eva struggles with the imposing presence of their future mother-in-law. Ben and Eva adore each other, but you got Maggie, whose mother-in-law casts on Eva on a daily/hourly basis. Really funny. It's really funny stuff. They're gifted comedic actors as well, so there's real energy and buzz in the place. A lot to come from them, more family-centered dramas, friendships are formed and developed. We've got this family at the heart of the street who I just warmly invite people in space to the pub. The pub has never looked more lively and full of life. I'm absolutely in love with the Driscolls. Well, I would hope so. I would hope that they're in love with the Driscolls. I didn't show the article. I do apologize. I did forget. I think that... Where am I even going with that? I'm resistant to believe that the fans will love the new family immediately because... Come on now. We know what the soap fandom's like. They get a new character and go, who the fuck is this? Who the fuck's this? Why are they getting all the big storylines? Get them the fuck out. Just give me a scene about Ken Barlow complaining about the price of bread. And it's just a bit of a shit show, really. I like new characters. I'm always usually having to... I always feel like I have to fight for the new characters because people always just slate them and don't give them a reasonable chance. There was someone in our comment section lately who said something that I absolutely echo, saying give them 3 months, and if they're still shit at 3 months, then you can complain about them. But complaining about them from their first, second, third scene is just not useful because you're only really getting introduced to the character. You know, you don't fall in love with someone on the first day. It takes time. It's a commitment. So, yeah, I don't know. Like, I'm looking forward to the new family. I'm looking forward to all this stuff. Probably not the most exciting way to flesh out the Christmas by saying, essentially, this will be fleshed out by a bunch of characters you may not like or not give a shit about. But Coronation Street is pushing forward with its direction, so you can't really fault it for having a pretty important direction. I will say, I don't know why I'm so washed out. I do apologize, but this has been a video. A lot has been discussed. What do you think about it? Tell me in the comment section down below. Been Ash from Watching Walford. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye bye.